this one thing can make or break your business, and that one thing is adaptability. Now, when it comes to adaptability, there are many things that might pop into mind. You might think about changes or managing change or inventing new things or creating new products. Whatever it is, when the market changes, and it always does, we need to know how to adapt as business owners. And I believe that the people who are still in business decade after decade after decade are the people who learned how to adapt. The thing is that the market is always going to change. Time never stops. Changes always happen. New regulations come out, new rules, new ways of doing things, consumer spending habits, everything is going to change. And if you have a business in today's day and age, it probably looks very different than businesses that were around 20 years ago or 30 years ago, because things changed. And so if you look back and you think about the businesses that were around 30, 40, 50, maybe even 100 years ago, what were they doing 100 years ago? It probably looks nothing like what they do today. Now, sure, there might be some core products, there might be some core services or things that they still do as a tradition, because that's probably why their customers love them. They have some sort of core product that people love. However, that product likely has changed many times. It probably has been iterated upon and updated and improved. Now, of course, there's always going to be industries that are outliers and are exceptions to this. For example, let's say you sell paper, right? Paper isn't really going to change much. Sure, it might improve a little bit or just get modified or tweaked in some way, or maybe something as simple as like paper clips probably didn't change too much from when they were first invented. Now maybe they added like little features or different colors or maybe little ridges on them to hold the paper better, but for the most part, it pretty much has stayed the same. Now, if you have a business where these things do change, right? Certain features of the product, maybe certain aspects of how the consumer uses it, updates to the user experience, these things will probably iterate more and more and more as time goes on, because consumers are learning what they want out of the products that they purchase, and they have very specific needs. So as consumers become more educated, as they become more savvy with the things that they buy, they have very specific things that they look for. So as business owners, we need to learn how to adapt, and that allows us to create new features. It allows us to continue growing our business as the market adapts and changes. And really, it's just a game of survival. Every business has a date of expiration. It's something that always ends. Every business ends. And so if you have that in mind, that this business only has, let's say, a lifespan of 10 years, right? Let's say you start a business, you can just assume it has a lifespan of 10 years, right? And by the way, most businesses don't make it to 10 years, but let's say you've somehow managed to have a 10-year-old or a 10-year lifespan business. So if you have a 10-year lifespan business, you can assume that day by day, you're getting closer to this expiration date. And so what can we do to put off that date more and more and more? Well, the first thing that we could do is we could start innovating. Or let's say the market changes, right? And consumer preferences changed, or regulations changed, or the amount of money that's in the market changed. So things started changing. Now as a business, we have to adapt. But the thing about adaptability is that it sounds easy until you actually have to do it, because a lot of things many times in companies have to change in order to make this new adaptation. Sometimes certain people have a change in roles. Sometimes certain people have to work longer hours or shorter hours, or there's a necessity for a new role instead of an old one. So people get swapped around. Sometimes people have to be laid off. Sometimes new people have to get hired. I mean, even if you think about where we're at with today's economy, there are so many things changing. One of the newest trends that we're seeing is artificial intelligence. So as artificial intelligence is coming in, guess what? The businesses that will adapt will stay around. The businesses that fail to adapt are probably only going to accelerate their momentum towards that expiration date. They're going to eventually go out of business. And I believe this very, very strongly. Businesses who fail to adapt to new technologies like artificial intelligence are only accelerating their way to their expiration. And so these businesses will eventually go out of business. I believe in the next 5 to 10 years, these companies will go out of business unless they start implementing AI in some way. Now, it doesn't have to be a total AI transformation. You don't have to replace your CEO with AI, nothing like that, nothing crazy. But you do have to learn how to use AI in little aspects of your business, because guess what? The competition's doing it. And even if they weren't, it's just going to make your business more efficient and make you more money in the long run. So why wouldn't you? You're literally losing money by not implementing AI into your company. And so if we start implementing AI, okay, that's today's trend. Well, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, everybody switches to using cryptocurrency only, and there are no more credit card transactions, no more wires, no more traditional banking. What are you going to do as a business? Are you just going to let it happen and fail? Probably not, right? If you're a smart business owner, you're going to adapt. Okay, great. How can we accept cryptocurrency? How can we start accepting that as our main form of payment? Those are things that go through the mind of a business owner who knows how to adapt. I know in the different businesses that I've worked on, it usually comes from an area that you don't expect at all. It's like, wow, I didn't realize that currency would change. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that the way we use technology would change. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that this regulation would change. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that consumers no longer like mint ice cream, they like strawberry ice cream, whatever it is, right? You have to adapt to those things and different trends in the market, because these trends are what's driving business growth. And so it doesn't mean you have shiny object syndrome and you just jump from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. You establish your core offering and you adapt that offering to whatever the market needs at that time. Sometimes it means your customers just need a little bit more hand holding. Sometimes it means that they need less hand holding. So you have to really get in tune with what your customer wants and what they need in order to be able to deliver that to them. And of course, with seasonality, with different aspects of the economy, like for example, whether we're in a recession or not, that can also play a role. So if you had a product that was extremely successful and it cost $50,000, and then eventually the economy was super down, the recession hit everybody super hard, they're no longer able to purchase that $50,000 product. But if you found a way to sell it and still be profitable, maybe for $30,000 or $40,000, that right there is an adaptation. Maybe you just figure out a way to spend less on your marketing or less on your operating expenses, but offer that same product for $30,000. So now these people, it's not necessarily a sale, it's just an adaptation to where the market is, right? You saw what happened in the market, you see that these people can be helped, they can be served, but they don't quite have the same amount of finances available as they did before. So now you have to adapt. You have to find a way to deliver that product for less. And that's what creates a successful business owner. The people who can adapt are the ones who are going to win long term. And business is a long game. It's all about who is the last man standing. You always want to be the last man standing. You want to be the last one in the market, the last one that's thriving and existing as a business. Because if you're not, it's probably because you didn't learn how to adapt. The most important skill in business. Alrighty guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.